Hello everyone, this is Cindy with Monarch Mom DIY. Welcome to my channel. Here on my channel, I like to bring you the best tips and tools for creating beautiful home decor on a budget. So today I am bringing you my top 5 fall farmhouse DIYs from last year. The reason I'm doing this is because I have about 30,000 more subscribers now than I did during the fall season last year. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and give it a big thumbs up if you'd like to see more fall DIYs, more top 5 DIYs. I could do something similar as we move into the Christmas season. If you are new to my channel, I hope you'll consider sticking around by hitting that subscribe button. So let's get into the top 5 fall farmhouse DIYs from 2019. For the first DIY, we're going to use this mason jar sign, wall sticker, aluminum foil, and some Waverly chalk paint. Once I remove the hanger from the sign, I'm going to give the back of the sign 2 coats of our Waverly chalk paint in the color white. I decided to paint on the back side to make this sign reversible. Next, I'm taking a pencil and lightly sketching on my dried jar sign 3 lines that are a little bit curved that will represent the lid on our mason jar. Then, taking my hot glue gun, I'm going to carefully trace over the middle and top lines with a bead of hot glue, and then I'm going to let this dry completely. Once it's dry, I'll take a piece of aluminum foil and make an impression of the top part of the sign, and this aluminum foil is going to become the lid of our jar. So once that hot glue is completely dry, I can place the foil on top, press it down, and make sure I'm pressing it around the 2 lines of hot glue. I did need to trim a little extra off the bottom here. And then I'm going to take my matte finish Mod Podge from Dollar Tree to completely adhere my foil lid to my jar sign. Next, taking some of my Waverly chalk paint in the black color called Ink, I'm going to just lightly dry brush on the edges of the jar to give it some dimension, and then just do some streaking in the middle of the sign just to give it a worn look. I'm also going to take a small brush and lightly go over those 2 raised lines to make the lid stand out even more. And then a little bit around the top and a little bit on the actual foil lid. I just felt like these little touches made it stand out even more. Next, I'm taking this wall sticker from Dollar Tree and placing the words on the sign, grateful, then blessed at the bottom, and then I'll place thankful in the middle, and then also use the 2 leaves. The great thing about this wall sticker, these wall stickers, is that they're clear on the back and they are also repositionable. So if you place one down and want to change it, it's pretty easy to do. And once I attach the hanger back to the sign, it is finished. For the second DIY, I'm taking 3 of these hanging arrow signs, a yardstick, some jute twine, and some Waverly chalk paint. I'm also going to use some sticker letters. So these arrows are much thicker than the ones that come 3 on a sign for $1. So I did pay $1 for each of these, but I think they are a great value. On the back, I'm going to, again, use my white Waverly chalk paint and give them a good coat of this. You can see I also had to use some Goo Gone to remove the stickers off of the back. Next, using 3 different fonts of sticker letters, I spelled the words pumpkins, apples, and sweet corn, and you can see I have my arrows pointing left, right, and left. So taking my red or crimson Waverly chalk paint, I'm lightly going over the white arrow that says apples with sticker letters. And then I'm going to use orange for the pumpkins and yellow for sweet corn. Next, I'm taking an X-Acto knife and just gently peeling up all my sticker letters so that even though my 3 arrow signs are 3 different colors, the words are all white because my base coat on my arrow was white, and they're all in different fonts as well. I really love this technique. It's a great way to add color and dimension to your signs. So now I'm just taking my sanding block from Dollar Tree and sanding the edges just a little bit to give this sign and the arrows a little bit more of a worn or rustic look and make it a little smoother where the stickers were on top of the letters. I didn't show this on camera, but that yardstick that I got at a thrift store, I did give it a coat of chalk paint in the color truffle, which is a dark brown. And now I'm just taking my hot glue gun and gluing each of my 3 arrows to the yardstick to complete my sign. And here's our finished sign, and here's what it looks like on my porch with some fall florals. For my DIY number 3, I'm using 2 of these box signs, 2 wood ornament pumpkins, some buffalo check scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby, some Waverly chalk paint, and this white Elmer's paint marker. The first thing I'm doing is measuring the inside of my 2 signs. It looks like they're about 5 inches square. So I'm cutting 2 5 by 5 inch square pieces of this buffalo check scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. Next, after I've removed that raised heart from the center of the box, I am giving the frame of the box, of both boxes, a coat of my Waverly chalk paint in the color truffle. As beautiful as this blue color is, it didn't quite fit with the color scheme I was going for these fall box signs. Once both signs were painted, I did put a light layer of Mod Podge on the inside of the box and adhered the buffalo check paper to the inside. Next, I'm taking this acrylic paint. It's actually, the color is called Pumpkin, and I'm just painting 2 of these wooden ornaments that you can get at Dollar Tree in a set of 5 for $1. Actually, I'm only painting 1 of them with the orange color. The other pumpkin I'm painting with this Waverly chalk paint in the color Celery. I really like to add in some greens to my fall decor. Once those are dry, I'm using my white medium point, no, that's a fine point, paint marker, and on the green pumpkin, I'm writing out the word gather, and on the orange pumpkin, I will write out the word fall. If you don't want to write these words, if you don't like your handwriting, feel free to use letter stickers or a stencil. My final step for these pumpkins is to just give each of them a little bow made out of jute twine to cover the ornament hole. Now, you could use the block that the heart was originally on, but they were stuck really, really well. So I'm just using 2 of my tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree and hot gluing 1 on the back of each pumpkin, and then gluing that to the center of our square sign, and this will give it that 3D effect. I love this project because it just shows how you can take something from the Dollar Tree and just make a couple little changes to make it look even more high-end and fitting for the holidays. And here's what they look like finished. For my 4th DIY, I'm using 3 different sizes of foam pumpkins, this metal tin can bucket with the jute twine on it, and some fall floral leaves. Also some Waverly chalk paint. So I found the smallest and the biggest pumpkins were from Dollar Tree. The middle one was from a thrift store. But what I'm going to do once I've removed the tags and removed the stem from this foam pumpkin is I'm going to give this one a coat of white Waverly chalk paint. I showed you all 3 colors that I'm going to use there. I decided for this project to use white, mineral, which is a light gray, and elephant, which is a darker gray. This middle pumpkin was a little more difficult to remove that stem, but I finally was able to do it. And then I gave my middle-sized pumpkin a coat. Actually, I think it took 2 coats of mineral Waverly chalk paint. I think it mainly took 2 coats just because of the black and gold glitter stripes that were on there. And my 3rd little pumpkin here from Dollar Tree, once I remove the stem with the hay on it, I'm going to use my elephant dark gray Waverly chalk paint. This one I think also took 2 coats because of that shiny orange finish on the pumpkin. I decided that this bucket was a little too shiny, so I took more of that elephant chalk paint and a makeup sponge and just kind of sponge painted all around the bucket to just kind of mute down that shininess and make it look a little older and more rustic. Next, I'm going to take some of these sticker letters that I had on hand, and I'm just going to spell out the word pumpkins. This time, I'm going to leave the stickers on the piece and not paint over them like I did with the arrow sign. Now you'll see here that I did take a bamboo skewer and go through my large bottom pumpkin, and I'm going to also attach the middle pumpkin onto the skewer and also have some hot glue there to hold it to the large pumpkin. Now these set in here pretty well without having to put any floral foam, and then I did just hot glue the smallest pumpkin to the top. I actually think it's cute when they're kind of a little wonky and not completely straight up and down. You could always secure these to your bucket if you'd like with hot glue, but I just kind of had mine setting in there. And I am returning that stem back to that top pumpkin. Next, I'm just taking a bunch of fall colored leaves that I believe I purchased in a package at Dollar Tree, and just using a tiny bit of hot glue, I'm just sticking them in between the pumpkins here and there until I am happy with the way it looks. And here is what our final product looks like. For our fifth and final DIY for this top 5 fall farmhouse DIYs, I'm using this sign, more of those pumpkin ornaments, more of the buffalo check scrapbook paper, and jute twine. I'm using my chalk paint in the color black here to go around the sides of this sign. You'll notice that there is a design on the front of this sign, and I decided to use the back because it had kind of a frame around it. So you don't have to go buy something. Look around and see what you maybe have that you can modify. Next, taking some of this pumpkin colored acrylic paint, I am painting 9 more of these pumpkin ornaments from Dollar Tree with a coat of this orange pumpkin paint. Next, I'm taking more of that buffalo check scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. Here I'm setting it in and kind of marking where I need to cut it. And I do have to piece together 2 pieces in order to completely cover the inside of this sign. And then once I have my pieces cut, I'm just going to use some matte finish Mod Podge to adhere that to the inside of the sign. Once the pumpkins were completely dry, I'm just taking a little bit of white paint and a flat brush and just very lightly adding some dimension to our pumpkins. Once that was dry, I'm taking one of my Elmer's paint markers. This is a fine tip in white, and I'm writing out in all capital letters the letters to spell happy fall. I just do the letters one time, and then once that's dry, I go back over it and make it bolder. Once all my letters were done, I did take my slightly thicker jute twine from Walmart and made a bow for the top of each of my pumpkins. You can also see that I did paint the top of the pumpkin stems there with some truffle chalk paint. Next, I'm hot gluing my little jute bows to my pumpkins that spell Happy Fall. The last thing I'm doing here is I'm placing and gluing my pumpkins with the letters onto my sign. You can see here I'm measuring where the center was, and so I'm putting the first, third, and fifth letters for the word happy down, and then the A and the other P will be a little bit raised out as they are resting on the 2 letters on either side of them. I love how this gives a little bit more dimension to the sign, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the second row with the word fall. Here you'll see though I'm going to place my first and third pumpkins and then have the second and fourth raised out. So as I'm finishing this, let me just say thank you so much again for watching this video. I'd love to know which of these 5 was your favorite, and I'd love to know if this is your first time seeing these DIYs, or if you were already a viewer or subscriber last fall when these first came out. My last step here is just to attach a string to the back of my sign in case I want to hang it, but most likely it will sit on a shelf. Thanks so much for watching these top 5 fall farmhouse DIYs. Here are some other fall DIY videos that you can watch next. Please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, I hope you'll consider hitting that button. Thanks. See you next time.